We live on a very misnamed planet. We call it Earth. If you look at Earth from space, I've never done it, but certain people have, you don't see much green and brown, but you see a certain amount, and that's where the inhabitants live. You see a lot of blue. This is a blue planet. It's not planet Earth, it's planet Oceania. Being able to control what happens at sea, being able to use the predominant environment on this planet, being able to use that environment is absolutely key for any state or coalition of states.
Is the civil sector willing to share the cost of these deployments? How a small navy, like the Belgian Navy, like the Greek Navy, with a budget in our Navy of 120 million per year, can run a frigate for 2, 3, 6 months per year.
When you have a navy, and you need to have a navy, for example, when we, as a maritime industry, we have an added value of 18.3 billion euros a year, I think. I think, as a country, we have to defend that. Same like we defended the rest of our country. So we have to defend it. And at a certain moment, now I pay to private companies. When the Dutch escort me, I pay to the Dutch. And they ask a fair price. And I said it before also in our discussions with the government, I am able to pay more for a decent VPD or a decent escort by a Belgian Navy than I pay to the private companies.
Can anybody say why is this reluctance towards the maritime adventure?
We have to protect our shipping lanes. It's our duty. So, and for doing that, we need a navy.
Why is it so difficult to convince, let's say, our society of that?
I think many people in Belgium do not know the importance of the marine industry in Belgium. That's the big problem. Yeah, they do not realize that we have 17,000 people, active people do in our business. I think that's one of the biggest problems. Maybe our shoreline is too short, eh? Yeah. Most of the people don't see the sea every day, so that's maybe the reason they do not realize that we are a very important country in merchant industry.
Is it possible slowly to grow together and to put all the deployable naval assets of the European Union into one operational command for training, pour la mise en condition? Whether it's going to be used for operations, that's a practical question. But I think that the professionals, they would like to see this big naval command that can do a correct preparation for the tasks of the future.
At the moment, in fact, I think the good things for the training, for the mise en condition, like you say, is probably to have two centers, because we are a big continent. I mean, we are far away. When you ask for example, the Greek Navy to go to the North Sea to train, it's a cost. And when you ask a Danish ship to go in the Mediterranean Sea, it's also a cost. So probably the idea could be, or should be, to have two centers. There is one center working. It is the British exercise GMC, which works for a lot of navies, but mostly the northern navies. I think we have to try to do the same in the Mediterranean Sea. It's not the case today, but it's possible. Another point is, another point is what we mentioned about the Dutch and the Belgian Navy. You say that they are trained together, but they are maintained together, and that's important. I think we probably have also some improvements to do on the maintenance, on the not the training, but the maintenance of the ships, which is a high cost. You pay your ships 3 times. Once, first time when you buy the ship, second time for the maintenance, and three times with the crew. And when you have that in mind, you have probably to try to gain money for the maintenance, to do that on a larger scale, which could be possible in Europe. But at the moment, the problem is the shipyards are concurrent, because that's direct employments on your soil, and so you don't want to share with the other ones. But we have to try to go further.
But if you have to make a ranking of challenges, things that we, as a small country with a big maritime economy, have to be worried about, what would be the main areas of concern? What should we be worried about?
The worry, it's not so much the worry that the Belgian coastline will be attacked. The worry or the focus, the focus should be laid on the Belgian contribution to international maritime operations. So a contribution in the European context and as well in the NATO context to contribute to maritime threat in a global sense. Therefore, we have the maritime security strategy that we act together, and not only a few member states, that all member states contribute to certain maritime threats wherever they happen in the world. This should be the answer, to act with these frigates and with these ships in an international context, and not to defend the 65-kilometer Belgian coastline.
Admiral Duché, to specialize or not to specialize, or to specialize more or not to specialize more?
It's difficult, it's difficult to give an advice to a good friend, but if I was Belgian, I think there is already a specialization with these two kind of ships. Frigates and mine countermeasures ships, and you need the two. You need both. Why? Because when you have a fleet of 200 merchant ships, that's right.
On the Belgian flag, only
on the Belgian flag, which is probably more than the French merchant ships. So you have rights. You can't rely on the other navies. So you need frigates for that, and you need also mine countermeasure ships, because you have to protect your harbors, and you have the harbor of Antwerp, and why the harbor of Antwerp will be protected by the Dutch or French navy. I think it's a national right to do, and so I think you are already specialized. The problem is after that to find the critical size you need.